Vartaha Kamsa Bhrityaha Pranoditaha Kamsa Bhritya Pranoditaha Chakravata Swarupena Chakravata Swarupena Jahara Asinam Arbhakam Jaharasinam Arbhaka Daityo Namna Trinavartaha Kamsabhritya Pranoditaha Chakravata Swarupena Jaharasinam Arbhaka Daityo Nama Trinavartaha. The power cut. Okay, we will skip chanting, but you just please try to hear and repeat. Daityaha, another demon, Namna, by the name, Trinavartaha, Trinavarta, Asura, Kamsabhrityaha, a servant of Kamsa, Pranoditaha, having been induced by him, Chakravata Swarupena, in the form of a whirlwind, Jahara, swept away, Asinam, the sitting, Arbhakam, child. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. When the child was sitting on the ground, a demon named Trinavarta, who was a servant of Kamsa's, came there as a whirlwind at Kamsa's instigation and very easily carried the child away into the air. Please repeat this translation after me. While the child was sitting on the ground, a demon named Trinavarta, who was a servant of Kamsa's, came there as a whirlwind at Kamsa's instigation and very easily carried the child away into the air. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Krishna's heaviness was unbearable for the child's mother. But when Trinavartasura came, he immediately carried the child away. This was another demonstration of Krishna's inconceivable energy. When the Trinavarta demon came, Krishna became lighter than the grass, so that the demon could carry him away. This was Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, Krishna's blissful transcendental pleasure. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum nanghayate girim. Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. Yat kripatamaham vande Paramananda Madhavam. Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So here's a description of another Leela, Krishna Leela. For Krishna, even as a small baby on the lap of his mother, killing these demons is a Leela. Leela means pastime, sporting activity. The children play, small children, they play. Like that, Krishna was playing in Vrindavan. Even on the lap of Mother Yashoda, even when he was with the cowherd boys, with the young gopis, with the cowherd men, with the cowherd women, with everyone, with the monkeys, with the birds, with the cows, with the calves. So here is a description of Krishna in his playful way killing this demon Trinavarta, who was actually a servant of Kamsa. And as has been described in the beginning of the 10th canto, all these demons had become a burden for the earth. How did they become a burden? Because they were very heavy? No. Because Mother Earth was very aggrieved that these demons were exploiting the innocent citizens by posing themselves to be kings of different states or provinces. Too many of them. And Krishna had appeared to reduce the burden of the earth, to relieve the earth of her burden of these demons. As he says in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam, sadhu means devotees, to protect the devotees, vinashaya cha dushkrita, to kill the demons. But his killing is absolute. His killing means liberating the demons. And demons are not eligible for liberation. They are not eligible for liberation. But somehow, if they come in contact with Krishna, they are liberated. So, when Krishna kills the demons, so many things happen. Of course, killing of the demon, the devotees and all innocent people, they are relieved from the atrocities of this demon. Then the demon's sinful activities stop. The demons keep on performing one sinful activity after another. So their sinful activities stop. And the past sinful reactions are completely purified, washed away by the touch of Krishna. All of you are chanting Hare Krishna every day? Yes? Loudly. So, you are also coming in contact with Krishna every day. How? Krishna is appearing on your tongue. When you say Krishna, Krishna is appearing on your tongue. Or if you say Krishna, Krishna is appearing on your tongue in the form of transcendental sound. Krishna, transcendental sound of Krishna, his name. So you are coming in touch with Krishna. Means what is happening? All your sinful reactions are completely wiped away. Remember this always. All your sinful reactions are wiped away. But then people will say, okay, my sinful reactions are gone. Why I continue to suffer? Why even after you chant Hare Krishna, your sinful reactions are gone for the past. All sinful reactions are gone. But still some suffering comes. That is because our sinful tendency doesn't go away chanting once Hare Krishna. No. We have got a sinful tendency. What is the sinful tendency? The tendency or the desire to enjoy materially. Earlier I described in a few times in the previous classes that why are we in this material existence where there is always suffering? Two reasons. First reason is we have the desire to enjoy independently. Our original position is we are actually part and parcel of Krishna. We are meant to live with Krishna in the spiritual world, in spiritual body, eternal life, full of bliss and knowledge. In association of Krishna, we are always enjoying. We are always blissful. But when we want or when we desire, I don't want to enjoy with Krishna. I want to enjoy independently. Then immediately there is material existence for such people who desire to enjoy independently. And such independent enjoyment is facilitated by Krishna through this material creation. So spiritually you cannot enjoy independently. Spiritual pleasure, spiritual bliss, ananda, it is Chinmaya rasa. Chinmaya means spiritual, full of the chit potency, spiritual potency of Krishna. And this material pleasure is achit. It has no spiritual potency. This material energy has no spiritual potency. That's why all this matter which is made up of achit, material substance, it has no life. It has no life. Even our body, material body, there appears to be life only because inside this body there is the spirit soul, chit. So we are Chinmaya, Krishna is Chinmaya, Krishna's abode, Krishna Loka is Chinmaya. Pleasure with Krishna, in association with Krishna, is Chinmaya. Ananda Chinmaya. Chinmaya Ananda. Whereas this material pleasure is simply illusory pleasure. It's of the quality of matter. What is the quality of matter? Sattva, Raja, Tama. 3 gunas. These are the 3 qualities of matter. So, everything material is having these 3 qualities in different proportions. Everything material. So, our happiness in this world is not real happiness. It's a fabricated, concocted happiness. So, when we want independent enjoyment, we can only have material enjoyment. We can only have material pleasure. And the second desire we have, not only we have this desire to enjoy independently, we also have the desire to lord over everyone and everything, to take Krishna's position. Krishna's position is, he is the independent enjoyer. He is the Lord of everyone and everything. He is the supreme. So if I want to enjoy like Krishna independently, if I want to take Krishna's position and be the Lord of everyone and everything, then I am put into this material world. So, when Krishna kills demons, what happens? Their sinful activities are stopped and they become purified of all their sinful reactions. Then what happens to these demons? It depends on their desires at the time when Krishna kills them, at the time of death, for everyone, not only for the demons. When we quit this body, when we leave this body at the time of death, dehantara praptihi. Death means you don't die. You have to leave this body. The body is finished at the time of death. Body is finished. Body becomes dead body. Right? At the time of death, what happens? Body becomes dead body. You don't die. You don't become a dead person. You leave this body, and then what happens after you leave this body? Where do you go? You are eternal. Where do you go? Depends on what your desire at the time of death. The desire belongs to you, spirit, soul. So what is your desire? So anybody dies, either devotees or non-devotees. Whatever their desire at the time of death, accordingly they'll get their next body. So if you have spiritual desire or spiritual desires, you get a spiritual body. And if you have material desire or material desires, you get a material body. But what if somebody has got both material and spiritual desires? Right? In our beginning of spiritual life, we'll have both desires. So, if we have material and spiritual desires, then definitely we will get a material body. But the material body will be suitable for our spiritual progress, continue our spiritual progress. So when we become free from all material desires by becoming pure devotees, then we don't get material body anymore. No more material body. As long as we are in this body, if we become pure, this body will not act like a material body. The body itself will act like a spiritual body. Just like Prabhupada's body. Have you ever thought why Prabhupada was traveling on board Jaladuta? He had 2 heart attacks. 2 heart attacks. But he was busy with writing, reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, preaching to those people in the ship, chanting Hare Krishna. That's because even though the body behaves like a material body, Prabhupada's form, it is not material. Being completely always situated in Krishna consciousness, according to the consciousness, the body will behave. It's like a demon. His consciousness is demoniac. His body will behave like a demoniac body. He'll only do demoniac activities, sinful activities. A pious person, saintly person, a devata, his consciousness is divine consciousness. So he'll only perform divine activities or pious activities. Sometimes even the devatas in the material world, because they have some material desires, they may be affected by rajoguna or tamoguna. That time they may behave in a sinful way, or they may perform some sinful activity. But because they are divine natured, they are immediately corrected by Krishna, who is seated in everyone's heart is Paramatma. Immediately Krishna will correct them. So you see, in all of Krishna's pastimes, when the devatas are involved, they make a mistake sometimes, but Krishna will correct them. Indra, he once became angry that Krishna stopped the Indra Yajna. So he sent torrential rains, and he saw these rains were not affecting the Brajavasis. Not affecting means they could not destroy them. Then he came to his senses and realized who is Krishna. Then he came and apologized to Krishna and offered wonderful prayers. Whereas the demons like Trinavarta, their heart is full of demoniac desires, sinful desires. So even when Krishna destroys all their sinful reactions, but Krishna will not destroy their desires. Krishna never destroys anybody's desires. Desires belong to the soul. Reactions belong to this body. Desires belong to the soul. So the desires are not changed by Krishna. Desires are not destroyed by Krishna. Desires cannot be destroyed because they belong to the soul. Soul is eternal. So if the demon, after being killed by Krishna, when the demon is purified because of being killed by Krishna, if the demon still has some material desires or any material desires, he has to take another material body. So he will take a material body and then again take birth. If he does not have any material desires at the time of his being killed by Krishna, then he doesn't have to take birth again in this material world. Putana, example. Putana came to kill Krishna by trying to poison him. But then, when she saw Krishna, there was a change of heart. There's a complete change of heart. This child is capable of destroying the whole universe. This is what she saw. And then, when Krishna actually sucked out her life air, then she completely surrendered to Krishna. Immediately she was promoted to Krishna Loka because she surrendered to Krishna. There is a change of heart. Just like hippies who came in touch with Prabhupada, not all of them, at least some of them, before coming in touch with Prabhupada, they were busy with so many bad, sinful activities, drugs and drinking, smoking, so many things. But when they came in touch with Prabhupada, there was a change of heart. And those whose heart completely changed, simply they went following Prabhupada and said, "We want to learn yoga from you." Then they became devotees dedicated to Prabhupada's mission. So this change of heart can happen only in contact with a pure devotee or Krishna himself. There's no other way this change of heart can happen. For those who follow the scriptural directions for practicing spiritual life, for them the change of heart is very, very, very slow. Very slow. Therefore, liberation by any process except bhakti, and even in bhakti, pure devotional service where there is surrender to Krishna. If you surrender to Krishna, even those who practice bhakti yoga, if they surrender to Krishna, then there is a complete change of heart. Complete change of heart. And then that such a person, such a practitioner of bhakti yoga, for him, Krishna actually guarantees that such a devotee will never again take birth. Tyaktva deham punarjanmanaiti mameti kaunteya. Again, such a person will not take birth on this world. So this Trinavarta, he came to kill Krishna. He was sent by Kamsa. And he assumed the form of a whirlwind. These demons, they can change their form because they got that siddhi. It's a siddhi, yoga siddhi. And these demons, particularly these demons, Kamsa and his associates, they have practiced Hatha Yoga and they have acquired this siddhi. They can change their form. Putana, she also changed her form. Many demons who came to kill Kamsa, Krishna, they changed their form. Kamsa did not change his form. Kamsa was so atheistic that he said, what this Krishna can do to me? Nothing he can do. This is Kamsa's atheistic nature. Among all the demons who were servants of Kamsa, Kamsa was the worst demon. So Krishna had to actually directly kill him, in the sense that he openly challenged. In the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 15th verse, Krishna describes 4 kinds of people who never surrender to him. Namam dushkrutino mudha prapadyante naradhama maya apahrita jnana asuram bhavamashrita. 4 categories of people. First is mudha, those who are foolish. Foolish people are always busy with material activities because they want to simply enjoy materially. So for material enjoyment, they work very hard, or they'll be endeavoring constantly for getting more and more and more and more and more. So mudha. Naradhama, those who are lowest of mankind. Lowest of mankind means they are completely bereft of all good qualities. By bad association or otherwise by simply engaging sinfully in more and more and more and more sinful activities, they go down, they degrade themselves. So this degradation can result either in getting a human form of life or a lower life form. If they don't get a lower life form, they get a human form, they're born as the lowest of mankind, Naradhama. Naradhama means they will never take to any form of pious activities. They only engage in sinful activities. Only engage in sinful activities. And they're always against God. They're always against God. So Naradhama. Then Maya Pahrita Jnana. Some people, they are very much inclined to cultivate knowledge. They are intelligent people in a sense, but they keep on cultivating knowledge in such a way that the aim of such cultivation of knowledge is only material enjoyment. Only material enjoyment. So what happens, because all material enjoyment is under the clutches of the material energy, Maya. So Maya, Mayaya, Apahrita Jnana. Their knowledge is stolen away by Maya. How much ever they acquire knowledge, the conclusion of such knowledge is lost. Even they study the Vedas, the conclusion is lost because Maya takes away their knowledge. Maya takes away their knowledge. So Maya Apahrita Jnana. Apahrita Jnana. So they cultivate knowledge and they lose the conclusion. Again they cultivate knowledge, they lose conclusion. So they are always bewildered. They are trying to figure out, what is this world? What is going on? But for actually finding out, they cultivate knowledge. But then at the end of their cultivation of knowledge, some particular subject or some particular topic, when they are supposed to realize the result of acquiring knowledge, the realization or the conclusion, that is when Maya bewilders them. Why? Because Maya's business is simply to provide material enjoyment. That's their purpose of cultivation of knowledge. So to give material enjoyment, Maya has to bewilder them. Maya has to bewilder them. Only then they can materially enjoy. They cannot materially enjoy otherwise. So when Maya bewilders them, they lose all the knowledge they have acquired. Finished. So Maya Pahrita Jnana, they never surrender to Krishna. Naradhamas don't surrender to Krishna. Mudas don't surrender to Krishna. Then the last class of people, the fourth class of people, Asurim Bhavam Ashrita. Those who are demoniac natured. These demonic natured people are openly atheistic. The other three categories are not openly, they don't always deny God, or they don't particularly go against God. But these demonic natured people, they are openly against God. Either they say there is no God, or they say God is dead, or they say everyone is God. Philosophically also, these demonic natured people, what do they say? They study the whole Vedas. And after that they declare, I am Krishna. You are Krishna? Yeah, that means everyone is God. They say, we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Who is Krishna then? Krishna is also spirit soul. And all this after studying the Vedas. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham Atma. I am Atma. And in the beginning of second chapter, Krishna said, you are Atma. So the demons, demonic natured people, their conclusion is, Bhagavad Gita teaches us, we are Atma, Krishna is Atma. Everyone is spirit soul. All living beings are spirit soul. God is also spirit. So we are all God. This is Asurim Bhavamashrita. Only demons can come to the conclusion after studying the whole Vedic literature that actually we are all God. We are all God. So this is Asurim Bhavamashrita. So this Trinavarta, this Kamsa, all these demons who come to kill Krishna, they think Krishna is another ordinary person. Even if people say, no, he is not ordinary person, he is God. And say, oh, if he is God, I can kill him. There is no God. Or everyone is God. So like this Asurim Bhavamashrita, they cannot be actually changed. Their nature, their mentality, demonic mentality cannot be changed. But they are fortunate if they have a change of heart when Krishna kills them or a pure devotee kills them. Just like Arjuna, the Pandavas fought in the battle of Kurukshetra. The Pandavas are pure devotees of Krishna. So, whoever was killed by the Pandavas, either Yudhishthira or Bhima or Nakula or Sahadeva or Arjuna, all of them are completely purified by such killing. Exactly like when Krishna kills a demon or Krishna kills somebody, that person is completely purified for sinful reactions. Similarly, all those who were killed by the Pandavas in the battle of Kurukshetra, they were all completely purified. Completely purified. But then after their purification, if there is a change of heart, they go back to Godhead. They go to the spiritual world. They go to Krishna Loka. If there is a change of heart. If there is no change of heart, then they have to take birth again. Then after they take birth again, depends on what their desires are. They still have desires for material enjoyment. Then they continue with material enjoyment. They again become bewildered by Maya. They lose the sense of discrimination. What is right, what is wrong, etc. So this Trinavarta, Krishna is, as I said, performing Leela. His performing Leela means his pastimes. Pastime of killing the demons and thereby delivering them, stopping their sinful activities, and the protecting the devotees. So the Trinavarta was sent by Kamsa to kill Krishna. He assumed the form of a whirlwind to lift this baby into the sky. And then his plan was, the small baby will take him high up in the air and then simply leave him. Then the child will fall down on the ground and die. This was his plan. So, Krishna became very heavy in the arms of his mother, Yashoda. So, Mother Yashoda, maybe some demon has attacked some ghost has attacked my child. So, she began to pray to Narayana. She put the child down. She could not carry him anymore. Krishna wanted Yashoda to put him down because he knew Trinavarta is coming. He did not want Trinavarta to snatch away Krishna from Yashoda. He did not want that. So he said, Yashoda should actually leave me alone. So he became heavy. Yashoda put him on the ground. Then she began to pray to Narayana. And then she called the Brahmanas and they did some rituals. If there is any ghost which has attacked my child, the ghost should be driven away. So then, after the Brahmanas did whatever, they said, Yashoda, now your child is safe. Then Yashoda went to attend to her household duties. At that time, Trinavarta came. And when Trinavarta came to pick up Krishna as a whirlwind, Krishna was as light as a blade of grass. So that's described here. This is due to Krishna's inconceivable energy, Achintya Shakti. It's called Achintya Shakti. Achintya Shakti. So this Achintya Shakti, Krishna can become heavier than the heaviest. He can become lighter than the lightest. Now, this becoming heavier than the heaviest and lighter than the lightest is possible even for yogis who have the Ashta Siddhi. One of the siddhis is to become very heavy, heavier than the heaviest. And another siddhi is to become lighter than the lightest. But nobody can excel Krishna in this siddhi. Krishna is actually the supreme Lord of all siddhis. So every yogi has got a certain limitation. He can become lighter than the lightest, but that is also how light he can become. There's a limit for that. Whereas Krishna can become so light that nobody can become as light as he wants to become. And Krishna can become so heavy that nobody can exceed his heaviness. So that is Krishna. Because when Krishna becomes heavy, he becomes unlimitedly heavy. Whereas a yogi, he always has a limit. Similarly, when Krishna becomes light, he can become unlimitedly lighter. So light that practically weightless. Weightless. Like that. So, Krishna became very light and Trinavarta could take him. And why did Krishna allow this Trinavarta to actually take him away like that and cause anxiety for Mother Yashoda and all the gopis? He's performing his Leela, and we will hear what happened after Trinavarta took Krishna. So today is also Prabhupada's sannyas acceptance smriti. So I'll read something about Prabhupada's accepting sannyas. So this is from one of the compilations by Prabhupada's disciple, Mula Prakriti Devi Dasi. She met different contemporaries of Prabhupada after Prabhupada's departure. Prabhupada passed away. So she met one Nayanananda Das Babaji Maharaj, who was a godbrother of Prabhupada. It means he is also a disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta, like Prabhupada is a disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta. So this Nayanananda Das Babaji Maharaj is recollecting that when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he passed away in 1936. So during the last year of his presence, when he organized one big parikram of Gaur Mandal Parikram, that is the whole of Navadvip Mandala Parikram, thousands and thousands of people used to gather, pilgrims used to gather to participate in the parikram, going to different holy places connected with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So there was a whole village of tents where they would finish some distance, they would walk from one holy place to another. And then at the ending place, they will have katha, kirtan, and they'll put tents to stay overnight. And next day morning again, they'll start walking. So on the afternoon of the last day, when they reached the destination, then so many devotees were there. So Prabhupada was also there for that parikram. He had joined. And Nayananda Das Babaji Maharaj was also there in that parikram. So he's telling that in the evening, when their guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was giving pravachan, he explained that it was the earnest desire of, it was his earnest desire, it was the desire of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be spread in the Western countries. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went round India, everywhere, preaching. And even his followers, they also preached. But mostly they preached, not mostly, only they preached in India. Nobody had gone among Chaitanya's followers to the Western countries to preach. So it was the desire of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that this Chaitanya's teaching should be preached in the Western countries. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told it is the vision of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the previous Acharya. The father of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was the previous Acharya. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur's vision was that this would happen. This would actually happen. So, he wanted to send his disciples, some of his disciples, to the Western countries to preach Krishna consciousness. So he had sent some of his disciples, and it is particularly during that pravachan that he was speaking, and suddenly his attention turned to different disciples of his who were sitting in that gathering. So first he was looking at all the sannyasis and brahmacharis. And after some time, his head turned towards the side where the householders were there. And at that time, Prabhupada, the disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta, was a householder. So Prabhupada was also standing, rather Prabhupada was sitting, and Bhaktisiddhanta's eye contact was made with Prabhupada for a long time. And then Nayananda Das Babaji Maharaj is telling, I was specially looking at whom is he going to fix his attention, because he's looking like this. He's not speaking. He's paused speaking. And then suddenly, when his eye contact was made with Abhay Charana Prabhu, that time Prabhupada was not called Prabhupada. It's called Abhay Charana Das Adhikari, a Grihastha disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta. So Abhay Charana Prabhu, his gaze fell. Then for quite some time, he was just, his eyes were resting on him. And then after that, he addressed the audience and told, I have a prediction. However long in the future it may be, I predict that one of my disciples will cross the ocean and that devotee will bring back the whole world. And then when this Mataji, the Mula Prakriti Devi Mataji, was interviewing him, this Nayananda Das Babaji Maharaj, he remembered this incident and he said it was actually Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, who actually is the disciple whom Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur predicted he will go to the West and he will bring back the whole world to Krishna consciousness. And actually it happened. That time nobody could have made out. He just said, I am making a prediction. One of my disciples will go. He never said who that disciple is. But Nayananda Das Babaji Maharaj remembered his gaze was actually fixed on Prabhupada when he said this prediction. And then later on, when he was recollecting, he said, actually, my Guru Maharaj had actually spotted who's that disciple who will do it. And he made this prediction. So, Prabhupada also, as a grihastha, he was doing business and he was doing whatever little seva he could do in preaching Krishna consciousness. But at a later stage, when his business started failing, he decided to actually hand over responsibility to his grown-up sons and leave home and go away to Vrindavan. He left home and went away to Vrindavan. And after he went to Vrindavan, he was staying in Radha Damodar temple, and he decided to begin translation of Bhagavatam, publish the Srimad Bhagavatam in the English language. That was his Guru's instruction also. You preach this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in English language to the English-speaking people in the Western countries. That was his specific order to Srila Prabhupada. So, he was preparing himself to actually travel to the West to preach by publishing Srimad Bhagavatam, at least the first canto. So, by 1964 or so, he had printed the first canto translation and purports of the Srimad Bhagavatam in India. But he was not thinking of accepting sannyas before going to travel. Even as a grihastha, after he left home, he was like a vanaprastha. Of course, there is no formal acceptance of vanaprastha in our system. But like a vanaprastha, he was staying in Vrindavan and he was only engaged in practicing and preaching Krishna consciousness. He left home and come. So, he was like a vanaprastha, but he had not accepted sannyas. And he thought like that itself he will preach and he will even travel to the West. But one of his godbrothers told him, you must accept sannyas. You must accept sannyas. So then he thought, how can I accept sannyas? Of course, in humility, he thought, I'm not qualified. But his godbrother said, no, you are very expert preacher. You're preaching very nicely. And you published the Bhagavatam. So you must accept sannyas. Sorry, he accepted sannyas before he published the Bhagavatam. He had plans to publish Bhagavatam. He said, you're going to publish, so you are very qualified to preach. So one of his godbrothers, his name was Keshav Maharaj, Bhakti Pragyana Keshav Maharaj, who was already a sannyasi. He kind of almost forced Prabhupada to take sannyas. So, he recalls that, Prabhupada recalls that, one has to accept the renounced order. Later on, Prabhupada is recollecting how did he accept sannyas, under what circumstances, to his own disciples. He's telling, one has to accept the renounced order from another person who's in the renounced order. So I never thought I shall accept this renounced order. So, sometimes I was dreaming that my spiritual master, he's calling me and he's telling me, accept sannyas. So he thought, how can I accept sannyas? How can I accept sannyas? So, again and again, the spiritual master appeared in his dream and was urging him to take sannyas. So then, after his retirement from family life, his godbrother met him and told him, you must accept sannyas. So then he felt that my Guru Maharaj has come in my dream and told me to accept sannyas. My godbrother is also actually almost forcing me, let me accept sannyas. So then he decided to accept sannyas, and he accepted sannyas on this particular day in 1959 from Bhakti Pragyana Keshav Maharaj. And that's the picture that is kept there. Another devotee also accepted, another disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta also accepted sannyas on the same day at the same time. So two of them are there in that picture. So the sannyas smriti, we are remembering Prabhupada's sacrifice he did for the sake of preaching Krishna consciousness. So many sacrifices he did. He gave up his sannyas. Accepting sannyas means giving up even whatever little facilities are available as a grahastha. Of course, vanaprastha is also giving up all those grahastha facilities, but Prabhupada never formally accepted vanaprastha. He was just staying in Vrindavan, decided to stay in Vrindavan and practice and preach Krishna consciousness. But as sannyasi, one cannot have the facilities of a grahastha or a vanaprastha. No. Sannyas means practically renounce all the facilities and simply live depending on Krishna. So we accept this sannyas danda. This is to always remind ourselves that we are actually dedicated our body, mind and words, Tridandi sannyasi. So Tridandi means holding 3 rods. This, what is covered here, is actually made up of 3 rods, 3 bamboo sticks, dandas. So it represents dedicating body, mind and words for the service of Krishna. And in that way, completely depending on Krishna. But actually, pure devotional service also means the same thing. So Prabhupada clarifies, even my grahastha disciples or brahmachari disciples, they are also Tridandi sannyasis by action. Especially those who have dedicated their life for the mission, preaching mission of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada has declared, all my disciples who have dedicated their life for this Krishna consciousness movement, they are all Tridandi sannyasis by action. Because they dedicated their body, mind and words for Krishna's service. And they are depending on Krishna for their maintenance by being situated as full-time missionaries in this institution which Prabhupada has established, the ISKCON society. So there is no guarantee for anybody who becomes a missionary devotee in this movement. There's no guarantee that tomorrow you're going to get your necessities, will be taken care of. No guarantee. So this is actually, practically speaking, dependence on Krishna. But still, for the sake of preaching Krishna consciousness, it is more favorable if such a dedicated devotee, who's dedicated his body, mind and words for the service of Krishna, for preaching Krishna consciousness, accepts the formal sannyas diksha. But then after accepting sannyas diksha, there has to be the actual following the rules of sannyas. So many rules are there in sannyas. So that not everybody can follow. Though many devotees can actually dedicate their life and practice and preach Krishna consciousness as brahmachari or grahastha. But to do so as a sannyasi after formally accepting sannyas diksha is not easy. Therefore, only some few people are able to or are awarded this sannyas. Even Prabhupada did not award everybody sannyas. No. Some selected disciples only awarded sannyas. Similarly, only some people who can follow the rules and who have actually developed the mode of living to be able to follow the sannyas rules. So they can accept sannyas, or they are advised, or they are instructed, or they are given sannyas. So Prabhupada accepted sannyas. Of course, for Prabhupada, there was nothing new, because his life was actually like that of a sannyasi only. So I'll stop here. So some announcements. Today is lunar eclipse. The start time is 9:56 p.m. and ending time is 1:26 a.m. This is according to Mysore location. For each location, there will be some changes. All the devotees are recommended to honor prasadam before 7 p.m. The eclipse begins at about 10 p.m. So you should have taken prasadam before 7 p.m. So the Sunday evening temple program today, this evening Sunday program there'll be some changes because of this eclipse. There'll be no dinner prasadam served tonight, whereas the counter sales prasadam and the donna prasadam will be available only till 7 p.m. After that, no more prasadam distribution or sales or whatever. And the altar closing time will be as usual at 8:30, and the Sunday program also will go on in this temple hall as usual. But the prasadam distribution, prasadam sales will stop at 7 p.m. Okay, so we'll stop here. Dhantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.